Giorgia Meloni was born on January 15, 1977, in the vibrant city of Rome, Italy. The daughter of a working-class family, she grew up in a world shaped by the rhythms of Roman streets and the pulse of post-war Italy, a country that had just begun to redefine itself after the collapse of fascism and the devastation of World War II. Raised in the district of Garbatella, an area that was a symbol of the working-class heart of Rome, her early life was defined by modesty, determination, and the promise of change. Her father, a journalist and a public figure, was absent from her life by the time she was a teenager, leaving her mother, Anna, to raise her alone. Her mother, a devout Christian, worked hard to provide for Giorgia, and their relationship would later influence Giorgia's political and personal identity. Though her childhood wasn't marked by wealth, it was filled with strong familial ties, religious devotion, and an early sense of the value of hard work. Her upbringing wasn't just about surviving. It was about learning to thrive against the odds. Giorgia's formative years were set against the backdrop of Italy's political evolution in the late 20th century. The country was grappling with its identity after the collapse of the Christian Democracy Party, and the rise of new political movements was underway. But it was the tumultuous environment of the 1990s that shaped Giorgia's worldviews. As Italy faced economic stagnation, political corruption, and the chaos of a fractured political system, Giorgia became increasingly aware of the need for strong leadership, firm values, and the courage to stand up for what she believed in. Her political journey began early. At just 15, Giorgia joined the youth wing of the Italian social movement, a far-right party that had emerged from the ashes of fascism, and her involvement in politics would grow over the next decade. She was outspoken, energetic, and confident, traits that would mark her rise in the political arena. It was in her early years of political involvement that Giorgia began to develop the blend of traditional values, nationalism, and populism that would define her ideology throughout her career. Giorgia Meloni's early education was focused on communication and public relations, which later helped her navigate the complex world of Italian politics. She attended the prestigious Libera Università Internazionale degli Studi Sociali Guido Carli in Rome, where she earned a degree in political science. During these years, she was exposed to a wide array of ideologies, but it was the world of right-wing politics that truly captivated her. Her first major break came in 1996, when she was elected as the youngest ever member of the National Youth Council. Over the next several years, she made a name for herself in the Italian political scene, especially after she became involved with the post-fascist Alleanza Nazionale, National Alliance. By 2006, Meloni was appointed the Minister of Youth in Silvio Berlusconi's government, a position that saw her make her first real steps into the national spotlight. Her role was emblematic of her core values, advocating for a strong family unit, maintaining Italian cultural identity, and pushing for a more nationalistic approach to Italian politics. In this position, she pushed for policies that emphasized Italian pride, national sovereignty, and the protection of traditional family values. But it was her political independence and her stance on the European Union that began to shape her into a force in Italian politics. Meloni, much like other populist leaders across Europe, was critical of the EU's influence on Italy. She viewed the EU's regulations and policies as an impediment to Italy's sovereignty and an obstacle to the country's ability to govern itself. This stance resonated with many Italians who were frustrated with the bureaucratic and often distant nature of European institutions. As the global financial crisis unfolded in the late 2000s, Meloni's call for a return to national strength and self-determination only gained more traction. In 2012, Meloni took a bold step. She founded her own political party, Fratelli d'Italia, Brothers of Italy, alongside other former members of the National Alliance. Her goal was to establish a new political platform that could unite Italy's conservative factions under one banner. The party, with its strong Italian nationalist platform, quickly became a significant player in Italian politics. While Meloni's career continued to soar, her personal life was never far from her focus. She married Andrea Giambruno, a journalist, in 2020, and together they have one child, a daughter named Ginevra. Her family life, along with her deep Christian faith, became pillars of her public persona. Her faith, in particular, is central to her identity. She is an outspoken Christian, often invoking her religious beliefs in her speeches and political actions. Meloni's devout Christianity has influenced her stance on many issues, from advocating for the protection of life and traditional marriage to her firm opposition to abortion and LGBTQ rights. As the leader of Fratelli d'Italia, Meloni built a reputation as a no-nonsense politician who would fight for Italian values, regardless of the political cost. Her rise to prominence was a gradual one, but it culminated in 2022, when after years of dedication and hard work, she became the first woman to hold the office of Prime Minister in Italy. Her victory was monumental, not just because of her gender, but because it represented the culmination of a new wave of conservative populism in Europe. Meloni's brand of populism, with its roots in nationalism, family values, and strong Christian identity, resonated with a wide cross-section of Italian society. As Prime Minister, Meloni's policies focused on economic reform, national security, and family preservation. She pushed for tax cuts, job creation, and strong border control. At the same time, she advocated for Italy's sovereignty, asserting that the country's interests should always come before international obligations. Her leadership on the global stage was both firm and pragmatic, as she worked to strengthen ties with Europe while asserting Italy's independence within the EU framework. Despite her rising influence, Meloni's leadership has not been without controversy. Her political opponents have frequently criticized her for her far-right affiliations, her opposition to immigration, and her conservative stances on social issues. She has been labeled by many as an authoritarian and a threat to the European order, though she herself has consistently defended her positions as common sense and in line with the values of ordinary Italians. Her position on immigration, in particular, has been a defining issue in her tenure as Prime Minister. Meloni has been staunchly opposed to mass immigration, arguing that uncontrolled migration undermines Italy's culture and sovereignty. She has called for stricter immigration laws, more border control, and a tougher stance on the European Union's refugee policies. This has made her a champion of those who feel that Italy is being overwhelmed by migrants and that their cultural identity is at risk. On the global stage, Meloni's political alliances have drawn attention. She has forged close ties with other right-wing populist leaders, including Hungary's Viktor Orbán and Poland's Jarosław Kaczynski, positioning herself as a leader of the European conservative wave. Her relationship with Russia, however, has been a point of contention, especially after the invasion of Ukraine. While she has condemned Russia's actions and expressed strong support for Ukraine, her rhetoric has been more cautious compared to other European leaders, signaling her pragmatic approach to international relations. Yet, it is her rise to the office of Prime Minister that has left the most significant mark. Giorgia Meloni's political journey is one of transformation, resilience, and defiance of expectations. From a young woman in Rome who initially entered politics as a member of a small conservative party, to becoming the leader of a major political force, and finally, the first female prime minister in Italian history. Meloni's life story is nothing short of extraordinary. Her rise to power is also a testament to the changing landscape of European politics, where traditional political ideologies are being challenged by populism, nationalism, and a return to the values of national pride, cultural preservation, and skepticism of global governance. Giorgia Meloni's leadership continues to inspire her supporters, while also raising questions about the future of Italy and the European Union. As of today, Meloni remains a polarizing figure in Italian politics. To her supporters, she is a symbol of strength, independence, and the preservation of Italian identity. To her critics, she is a dangerous force, a reminder of Europe's darkest historical moments, and a challenge to the European values of democracy, liberty, and tolerance. Yet no matter which side one takes, there is no denying that Giorgia Meloni's story is one of immense significance in the history of modern Europe.